Kids don't forget.
Kids don't forget.
You kids don't forget.
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 Kids don't forget. Kids don't forget.
Xandi, what's going on?
Nothing. I'm here. I'm glad to be here.
We're very excited that you're here. Thank you for stopping through.
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, so I called you by your nickname, but your name is actually Alexandra.
Correct.
That's the correct pronunciation.
That is the correct.
Has it ever been mispronounced?
Like all the time. I don't know how you can mispronounce Alexandra.
Right.
But it's been Alexandria. I've gotten Alexander. I've gotten Alexandra. Everything but Alexandra. People have called me Alexis, Alexia, Alexa. Just not Alexandra.
Spell it.
Alexandra.
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 And for some reason, that has gotten roasted.
I don't even know how you do that. Like, why are you adding letters? Just read what's on the paper. Just read it.
Right.
Like, I've gotten email correspondence that was like, Mr. Carpenter. In my signature line on every email every job I've ever worked at, Alexandra. Right. It's a woman. I'm a woman.
Clearly. But I will say, you don't want to assume, because I once had a boss who was a female whose name was Douglas.
Wow.
And when I first, like the first interview, the person who was pre-interviewing me for Douglas, she was like, yeah, Douglas can't wait to talk to you. And I was like, I can't wait to meet him. And she said, Douglas is a girl. And I was like, what?
I mean, I've met a woman named Darnell. I know women named Ryan.
Right.
I mean, you're right. It's not ever safe to assume. But
Alexandra.
when there's an Alexander,
Right.
So if there's dra, then I think it's a pretty safe assumption to make that Alexandra is a girl.
Now, did you have a bunch of nicknames growing up?
Generally Xandi.
Xandi.
And then like people from school call me Alex, so you can always tell like what phase of life people know me in. Like,
okay,
are you my friend from school or from growing up? You call me Alex. Are you my friend from like outside of school, personal, growing up to now is Xandi.
Okay.
Or
okay.
like if I like you like that, you can call me Xandi. Or just not.
So wait, does anybody call you Alexandra other than somebody who calls you on the phone?
No, my sister.
Your sister.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like when she's like mothering me.
She's like, Alexandra, we need to talk.
Like I'm in trouble. Yeah.
Now, where are you from?
I'm from Parkside.
Parkside is where?
In Camden.
Camden, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. Really? How would you describe the neighborhood? Well, first of all, do you claim a specific block?
Well, I grew up on the 1200 block of Kenwood, and my grandmother lives still currently on the 1300 block of Kane. So like standing, if I came down the front step at my house, right, I could see my grandmother's front porch. So okay. I'm kind of,
got it.
Like,
so your grandma lived right across the street from you?
Yeah, like pretty much, yeah.
Okay, interesting. Mm-hmm. How would you describe your neighborhood growing up?
So we moved out of that house when I was young.
Okay.
But I don't ever remember there being any like nonsense, no whatever. Like we played in the street. We was like barefoot racing down the street. It was pretty good. It was like tons of kids.
Okay.
It was pretty good. Like I loved it. I was very upset when it was time to leave. Like I asked my mom, could I just go live with my grandma? Because I didn't want to leave my friends. Okay. It's like, can I just go live with Mama? I don't want to go. I don't want to go to a new house. I just want to stay where I'm at. It was really bad. I did not want to go.
So growing up in Camden, no drama at all?
No. Not until like I got older. I went to Forest Hill Elementary School, so that was from like 2nd grade to 6th grade. So walking home, I could tell the difference. Like over time, I could tell that the neighborhood was changing and things was getting to be a little different than I had remembered them from being like young. But it was never really any like mayhem. Like no shootouts, no bunch of fighting, none of that. Okay. Maybe a little ruckus at night. Right. But not while the kids was outside.
Okay. So you mentioned your sister already, which means you're not an only child.
I am not.
Are you the oldest? Well, clearly not the oldest.
No.
Are you the middle or the youngest?
I'm the youngest. I have a brother in
okay.
the middle.
You have a brother in the middle. So it's three of you
There's
guys.
three of us.
Okay. So what is the age gap between you and your oldest?
7 years.
7 years. And your brother's how much older than you?
5.
5. Okay.
So I'm like the baby, by a mile.
Right. What was that like for you growing up in that house?
Fun, because they would spoil me rotten. Yeah. So
always got your
I
way.
didn't really always get my way. I think that might be a lie.
I was thinking that, like,
I think
she's
that
lying.
might be a lie. That might be a lie. I really got away with a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have got away with. And
Right.
I remember very vividly one time I had to be like 4 or 5. I was like wailing on my sister. I don't even know for what. She probably was like trying to help me get dressed or something. I don't know.
Right.
But I was tearing her up. And my sister was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not helping her. And my mom was like, go in here and help your sister. She's just having a tantrum. Just, she'll be all right. It's your job to help her. I mean, spoiled rotten. To this day, 36 years
It's
old.
hard to think of a youngest who wasn't spoiled and didn't always get their way. If you was to say that you didn't always get your way, I would be
No.
like, I want
I
to meet
didn't
your
always
parents.
get my way.
But like 90% of the time.
Yeah. And I came here very early, very sick, very worried about. And so as I was like growing up, it was like, she's not even supposed to be here. We're just going to let her be great. Yeah, no, I don't know if that was the best decision to make. Because I was like, the baby. Like, I took that thing and ran with it.
Now, did you grow up with both parents?
No. So, I don't want to say no, but no.
Not in the same house.
Right. My dad and my mom split up when I was 3.
Okay.
So my dad was around, but he wasn't always like around.
Can you remember a point in your life where you lived with both parents?
I can't.
Okay.
I know that I did because I know how old I was when he left,
Right.
but I can't remember. Like, I don't have any memories of like my mom and dad together, like in the house.
Now that you're a grown woman, you said 36.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back, do you think that maybe affected you, that your dad wasn't physically in the house
Oh,
with
there's
you?
no maybe.
Okay.
Absolutely, it absolutely did.
Absolutely. How so?
So, for me, like growing up, I saw most of my friends, like there were not a lot of my friends that did not have both parents. And so, like, it just was like, oh, my mom and my dad, or we're going here, or we're going there. I didn't use the pronoun we're in reference to my parents. It was like my mom, the we're was my mom and my brother and my sister.
Okay.
Or like my mom and my aunts and my cousins. It didn't really, like, there was no like the daddy we're. And so like there's a lot of pictures from like childhood with my brother and my sister and my dad, but not very many with me included, because I was so small when he left.
Right.
And so it's like I grow up and it's like conversations that a girl would have with her dad I didn't have with mine.
Okay.
Questions that I would ask my mom but really like needed to ask my dad, I didn't ask them. And because I was resentful that he left, like I always felt like it was my fault. Like, why did you wait till I got here to decide that you wanted to leave? And I never asked him that question until I was like 18.
So all three of you had the same dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
My parents were married.
Okay.
And like I was just always very resentful because he left.
Right.
And I was just like, whatever. I'll figure it out by myself. And it landed me in a lot of situations where I probably wouldn't have been in if I would have just like asked my dad or talked to my dad or got his opinion, specifically with like boyfriends and stuff like that. But I didn't even ask my brother because I felt like my brother was close to my dad and I was mad at him for being close to him and not being mad at him like I was mad. So
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. So with that being said, how would you describe, at this point, how would you describe your relationship with both parents? Let's start with your dad. How would you describe or did you just describe your relationship with him?
Well, no, so now it's great. I mean, even like as a kid, he was around, like he didn't miss much. He was at every dance recital, he was at every band concert, he was at every cheer competition. Like he was around, but he just wasn't in the house. And I felt like it was a period of time where like he was never there unless it was like something for him to brag about.
Right.
Like I'm not your opportunity. Like I'm your kid. You're gonna like stop. Told my mom one time, like stop telling him what stuff is. Cause if he can't come over here when I don't feel good, then he don't need to come over here on Christmas either. Like stop that. But obviously I'm the child and not the parent, and she did what she felt was best for her kids. But so now that I'm older, even as I turned like 18, I felt it at 16, like I wanted to talk to him, and my mom was like, no, you're not, because I know you, and you're not going to talk to your father like that. Like, you want to talk to him at 18, you're an adult, I can't tell you what to say, but at 16 I can tell you what you will and won't say, and you won't have that conversation as long as I'm making the decisions for you. So when I was 18, me and my dad had a real good talk, and today we are super tight.
Okay.
Super duper tight.
Okay. What was your relationship like with your mother? Well, what's your dad's name, by the way?
Larry. William Larry Carpenter.
Shout out to, wait, so what would I call him? Mr. what?
Mr. Larry.
Oh, okay, shout out to Mr. Larry. Okay, now moving on to your mom, what's her name?
Her name was Doris Carpenter.
Was Doris.
Yeah.
Okay, shout out to Miss Doris. Let's talk about what was your relationship with your mom?
So my relationship with my mom
And condolences, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay.
My relationship with my mom was always very good. Always.
Okay.
You know, you get to be a teenager, you start doing stuff, you start smelling yourself, you start trying to assert your I'm a grown up because I'm doing grown up things, and then your mom got to check you real fast. So there was always like the rough teenage patch, because there was a period of time where I was just completely out of hand. But she was my mom, and she was also my friend, right? So
Okay.
there hasn't been, I think I told you this before too, like there's never been a time where I wasn't with my mom, except the 2 years that I lived in DC when I went away for school. So
Okay. Where'd you go, by the way?
I went to Howard.
You went to Howard for 2 years.
Howard for 2
okay.
years.
Okay. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. So because I'm 5 years behind my brother,
Mm-hmm.
when him and my sister, who are 2 years apart, were away at school, it was always just me and my mom.
Okay.
So, like the two, and my sister said it to this day. She's like, you got a side of mommy that I didn't get. Like she says all the time, I didn't know that mommy had a sense of humor until I came home from college. Well, when my sister came home from college, it was 2000. I was 15, and I had been in the house with my mom for 5 years.
Right.
Already.
Well, you know what's crazy? There's 3 of you guys,
Mm-hmm.
and all 3 of you may have experienced 3 different parents.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Right. You can grow up in the same house with somebody and have a completely different childhood.
That's exactly right. And I know for a fact that myself and my sister experienced a different mother.
Right.
Because
And she was a different person.
we are 2 very different people.
Right.
And so the
right.
kind of mother that my sister needed was not the same. But my sister was never out of hand.
Okay.
I don't think my mom ever got a call like, your daughter is up here and you need to come and get her.
That you know of.
Yeah, that I know of.
That you know
That I
of.
know of.
Right.
Yeah, I can't recall that. Like, at all.
Right.
Like, ever. Me, on the other hand. Oh, there was tons of those calls. They didn't come till high school, but they did come.
Right.
They
And
did.
by then, your brother and sister were out the house.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, did you ultimately become a parent?
I did become a parent.
How many beautiful seeds do you have?
I have one son.
Okay. How old is he?
He's 10.
Okay. You know how your mom raised you because you were there. You know how your dad raised you, or lack of thereof, because you were there. What would you say are some similarities and differences between your parents' parenting styles and yours?
Interesting, because, like I told you, I never lived anywhere but with my mom. So for the 10 years that my son has been living until January when my mom passed, she's been integral in my parenting. So
your mother just passed away in January of this year.
yeah, January 2021.
Okay.
So I find that I'm a lot like my mom, but I'm also very different from my mom.
How so?
So my mom was very authoritative. Not like it's my way or the highway. It's like, these are the rules and you're expected to follow them. But these are the rules, you're expected to follow them, but I will hear your perspective. You're still going to do what I told you to do.
right.
But I will listen to why you think that that's unfair.
Because some parents don't want to hear it
No,
at all. It's
no.
like, do what I say.
My father is, I said it. Period.
Right.
That's it.
Quick tangent. Do you have so the question is going to be, my mom had a rule for me growing up. I could not leave my room unless my bed was made.
Oh, no, that's topic.
Who cares? I think my mom was the only person who cared.
No, I don't.
No, so did you have a rule growing up that you hated? Like even now you look back, like what was the point?
So I was in the summer band program.
Right.
Which ultimately led to me being in all city program.
Okay.
So all year long I was doing something. All city was through the school year on Saturdays from like 8:30 to 12:30, and then summer band was all summer. Well, all summer, every day from 8 to 12:30.
What did you play?
I played the saxophone, the
What
clarinet,
saxophone?
alto.
What? Alto. Okay.
I started with the clarinet though, and
Right.
then I eased into the alto sax, and then I reverted back to the clarinet, but to the bass clarinet, which was by far my most favorite instrument to play.
So you were always a woodwind.
Always.
Okay.
I tried to get into the piano because like my mom wanted that. She wanted all of us to play. My brother plays. My sister plays.
Right. Your brother's a drummer.
My brother's a drummer. My brother plays the bass. My brother plays the keys.
And your sister's a flutist.
My sister plays the flute. My sister plays the bassoon. My sister plays the keys.
Okay. So musical family.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you find it? It's not hard to transition between woodwinds. So were you able to easily transition between the clarinet and the alto sax?
I think the easier transition was, yes, it wasn't difficult. But
Right.
I think it was easier to go from the saxophone to the bass clarinet because of the size of the instrument.
Okay.
And the fingerings on the bass clarinet and the regular clarinet are the same. So yes, the transition was easy.
All right. So you were in summer band at All City.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what was the rule that you didn't like?
That in order for me to go to All City, it was always All City because All City was on Saturday.
Facts.
In order for me to get there, I had to have completed a suggested list of chores.
A suggested list?
I don't really like housework ain't my jam. My house ain't dirty, right? My house is clean.
Right.
But when I'm a kid, I don't really want to do that. I don't want to make the bed. I don't want to clean the bathroom either. I don't want to take out the trash. I want to put on this bodysuit and go to dance. Like, that's what I want to do. Well, if you want to do that, you're going to have to do these chores. Because you're not leaving my house going to do anything until your chores are done.
Yeah.
Period. Including making the bed.
Right.
Why
right.
am I making this bed when all I'm going to do is undo the sheets to get in it?
I never
This is so
really
dumb.
understood the point.
What is the point? Like, I know people.
That's probably a raging debate from housewives, or just moms, period,
I
and
can't
kids.
understand it. My grandmom is 96 years old.
Right.
And she will not get in her bed if she didn't make it.
Well, you're going to unmake it
Mama,
immediately.
What you doing? And she, like, to this day, like, right now, if I went to her house, and she, she's old, so sometimes she don't have the energy to make it up when she gets up. So she goes downstairs, she does whatever she's doing for the day. If I go upstairs in her house, she'll say, "Don't go in my room is a mess." I'll go up and like peek. The bed is unmade. That's it.
That's it.
You probably could eat off my grandma's floor. The bed is unmade. That's it. The room's a mess because the bed is unmade. Why are we making the bed? Do you understand this?
I feel your pain.
What is the point?
I feel your pain.
What is the point of made that bed?
It's only if you're trying to show off for somebody, like, or you're taking a picture. Like if you got company, yeah, exactly.
Nobody goes in my room.
Like on a normal Wednesday, who cares if I make up my bed or not?
Nobody's going in my room.
My dad never said anything about my bed being made. That I can give him that. It was my mom's rule. You cannot leave your room. Like I just knew to make up my bed, but like
I asked my mom one time, like, why do I have to make a bed? People are not even allowed upstairs in our house.
Exactly.
If we have company come over, we're not going upstairs.
Right.
What is happening?
It's a mom thing.
So dumb. It's not this mom, not me. That is not a thing.
So are you an authoritative mom?
I'm an authoritative mom. There are rules. My thing to my son, my aunt, shout out Aunt Murdis, told me when I was a child that all choices come with consequences.
Correct.
That is written on a dry erase board on my refrigerator.
Now the consequence could be good or bad,
Right.
but there is a consequence.
There is a consequence. And
Right.
the consequence that you get is based off of your choice.
Right.
So
Good point.
my son is very anti-germs, right?
Okay.
He don't want to put the trash out. He don't want to clean the bathroom. Like, mommy, please, like anything. I will mop the floor with a toothbrush, but please don't make me put the trash out. you're going to put the trash out.
You can't let your mom put the trash out.
You're going to put the trash out right now.
Does he wear like the yellow gloves?
He wears regular like latex gloves.
Okay.
And like a mask. Like he's not playing. Like this was before COVID. He's not playing around. He don't like it at all. And so he was like, but what if I don't put the trash out?
He asked that?
He did.
Okay.
I was like, what?
First of all, did I just hear that?
He was like, no, seriously, Mom. Like, this is the real question.
Like, he wasn't being a smart ass. He wanted to know what the consequence was.
Question. Like, what if I don't put the trash out? I was like, I don't know that you want to know what. If you don't put the trash out. What? What if I don't feed you when you're hungry? Mom, I just can't do it. I just think it's so gross. I think fooling around with raw meat is gross. But I'll clean this chicken so you can eat.
Right.
Put that damn trash out.
Right.
Now. Or don't put it out, right? I've been putting the trash out for my whole life. It's 3 of us. We had a rotation of chores. Like we have a dishwasher, bathrooms, kitchen, laundry. And growing up, it was a rotation. Like 1 week was my brother's week to do the trash in the upstairs bathroom. While he did the trash in the upstairs bathroom, I collected the laundry and did the downstairs bathroom, did the dusting, he did the vacuum, and my sister did the kitchen. And it was like whoever had this week, it's like a rotating wheel. So I've been putting the trash out since I was tall enough to pull the bag out of the can without making a total mess.
Right.
So I don't have a problem putting the trash out.
Now, by the way, does he have to like walk it to a dumpster, or is it like right out front on the curb?
We live in a single family home.
So it's right out front on the curb.
And he takes the garbage from the kitchen, which the back door is in our kitchen.
Right.
Down 2 stairs, onto the patio.
Right.
Into the trash can.
Got it.
And then on Sunday after church,
right,
he drags the can to the curb. And on Monday when he comes home, he drags the empty cans into the bag. And now he's tall enough, like he's learned how to use the washer and dryer because he's tall enough to like operate it now. Okay. He learned how to cook on the stove. You go into 6th grade, like it's time for you to start doing stuff. But I tell him all the time, you got free will, son. You don't have to do what I tell you to do. It is your option to do whatever you want. Especially if it's something that I tell you to do and you don't want to do it. Don't do it.
It's America.
Don't do it. But understand that I pay for that Xbox. I pay for that phone. I pay for all them networks you be watching on that television. You're going to be a sad somebody when you sitting in the middle of the living room floor staring at the ceiling, counting the texture.
I know that's right.
Because if you can't help me around here, then you don't get to have the privilege of the things that you have. And that's it. And I'm not about to go through this with you all the time. So I've implemented this thing, right? I'm teaching financial literacy. So he gets an allowance. He's 10, it's $5. Like he's not. What are you doing? Really? Why do you need more than that? But if it's a week where he decided that mommy told you to put the trash out and you don't want to put the trash out, now your pay is stopped. So if I remind you, I'll say, son, the trash needs to go out. He may not have come in the kitchen. He may not have seen that the can is full. Come in here now and put the trash out. If I come back hours later and I remind you again that the trash needs to be put out, that's 50 cents off your money.
He gets docked.
Yes. If I put the trash out, that's $1. And if I drag the can to the curb, it's another $1.
Now, that's interesting, because what you did not say is what a lot of black parents would say, as you know what I'm about to say, is you would get smashed.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Interesting.
Because it doesn't teach the lesson.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
Because like I think he'll learn better from me taking money from him. Because in the real world, if you go to a job and you don't do your job, you're not going to get paid.
Facts.
You want me to give you this $5? You want me to cook dinner?
Right.
You want me to go to the store for this special trip? The other day I was going to get some ice. He didn't want to get out the car. Oh, Mom, can I have some Sour Patch Kids and some Swedish Fish? Like he was just, eyes was closed and he was just all in. No, you cannot. I don't tell him no. He an only child. He got all my coins. I said no. He was like, but I didn't do. That's exactly right. You didn't do anything, and so you're not getting what you're asking me for because you didn't earn it.
Right.
These are my dollars that I went to work for. I'm not spending them on your snacks, and then I'm ignorant because I'll come out with like 2 pints of Ben & Jerry's ice cream just for me, or Swedish Fish and Sour Patch Kids,
Right.
and then I eat them
You like facts. You
because
didn't do it.
I did the work. Right, you didn't do anything. So no, I don't do a lot of hands-on with him.
Okay.
I might like bust him upside his head if he like does something like really stupid. If he says something like if he becomes like disrespectful, I like pop him in the mouth. But there's no real like
Got it.
thrashing.
Now, what about your dad? What are some similarities and differences with how he raised you per se?
So,
First of all, you're there,
well, yeah.
like in the house with him. That's A.
That's A, and differently, right? My dad. I think my parenting style with my son is very different than my dad's parenting style, just in general, right? Because my dad is 70 years old, and so he is of the same frame of mind that his parents raised him in. Period. Like, Mom, if I ask my dad, can you take me to the movies, or can you drop me off to meet my friends at the mall? He would be like, what did your mom say? Well, I didn't ask her. I'm asking you. No. Well, why not? Because I said no. Period. Like this is what it is. That's that. I'm not that kind of parent.
Okay.
I try because I used to feel like with my dad I just felt like my voice was stifled. With my mom, I felt like you asked me, my opinion, but it didn't really matter.
So your dad's from the era of children should be seen and not heard.
Oh, absolutely.
And your mom was
My
kind
mom was really children should be seen and not heard too, but the difference I think here's the thing. It just like clicked just now. My mom was an educator.
Right.
My father was a corrections officer. Very different frames of mind.
Facts.
And so very different principles and perspectives on what to do with children. My dad wasn't like swinging a bell, acting crazy. Like he wasn't. It was never like an abusive situation. I can't even recall like getting a beating from my mom. Maybe like twice, like with a belt. Now as I got older, I could count.
Right.
On and on and on and on and on. The number of knuckles that I ate. But yeah, so no, I don't know that that my parenting style is reflective of my dad's at all.
Okay.
My brother, he parents like our dad.
Because he was closer to your dad.
Right.
Right. Got it.
Yeah. And my sister is very she's a lot like my mom too.
Okay.
She is. She is. I think personality wise,
Right.
like it depends. I don't know. I think it just depends on like who you are as a person and then who your children are, because they're not just like little machines. They are actual people with personalities. And so when you consider what your personality is and what your child's personality is, I don't think it really matters how you were raised, because if what your personality is and the way you were raised doesn't fit the need of your child, then you as a parent have to adjust, because the child is not going to. They don't know how. They
Right.
don't even realize that an adjustment needs to be made. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's like, I don't do well with abrupt change. I shoots my anxiety into a freaking tizzy like immediately.
Okay.
But neither does my son.
Got it.
And so how does an anxious mom raise an anxious child without having an anxiety attack? You could pull your big drawers up and figure it out.
Okay.
So, like, with my mom's death, I lived with her, right? So she left home to go to the hospital on December 9th, and we were in transition to preparing for her to come back home. And then on New Year's Eve, my sister called and was like, they're putting her on a ventilator, and I was like, she's supposed to come home. She's not supposed to go on the ventilator, so I'm still in my mind preparing the house for her to come home. And, none of this conversation is being had with my son. He's a child. He's lost enough. That's a whole nother situation. But I just wasn't, I don't even go upstairs. Like, I go upstairs, I take a shower. I get dressed, and I come back down. But I'm not, like, I can't sleep upstairs because for 30 years, I slept with my bedroom door open. My mom slept with her bedroom door open. And if I woke up in the middle of the night, there was whatever sounds were coming out of her room from her sleeping, but also her television.
Right.
The TV light is not on. So now I'm in the middle of the night. I can't even go back to sleep because every day I'm reminded. You understand what I'm saying? So that's a hell of an adjustment. I took my son on a much lesser note. I took my son out of this Christian school that he was going to. He started school early. His birthday is late October, so I didn't want him to wait a whole year to go to kindergarten.
Okay.
So he started kindergarten early at this Christian school. He stayed there till 3rd grade. The tuition became more than my pay, and I didn't feel like it was worth the money for him to get the Christian education that I could give him at home. Right? You're learning academics, regular arithmetic and all of that, but also the Bible. I can just go and get the same curriculum that they're using at the school and teach it myself. I don't even need that because I know Jesus, right? So whatever. And so I took him out of that school, and I told him, you're not going to this school I told him on the first day of 3rd grade, this will not be your school next year, because I know that if I didn't tell him and he started at a new school, it would be mayhem. It was mayhem anyway. And he knew he was changing schools. He's the kind of kid you can't say, we're going to go to Rita's today. And then we get to Rita's and the line is all the way down 48th Street. All right, son, we'll come back tomorrow. But you said we was going to go to Rita's today. So instead of me getting angry, because I know that if I was him at that age, I would be probably having the same reaction. Like, you told me that we were going to do something, and I've been waiting to be able to do it. I can't be like, oh, well, shut up and get over it. I offer him an explanation to try to quell his anxieties, right? Because that's what you have to do as a parent. My father in that situation would be like, we're not going today, and if you don't stop this, we're not going tomorrow either. My mom would say, I understand that you're upset, but you need to understand that I'm not waiting in that line. You can get it tomorrow, or you don't have to get it at all. Me. You can get it tomorrow or not at all.
Got it.
We can even leave Rita's and go to Mr. Softy, because there's a standalone Mr. Softy in Cherry Hill or Pennsauken. It's across the street from the golf course. We can leave Rita's and go to Mr. Softy. I don't want Rita's. Then you have to wait till tomorrow. I offered you an alternative.
right.
You didn't want to take it, so you
thinking
don't,
like an adult, not like a kid.
you don't want a frozen treat. You got sherbet at home in the freezer, so I can save my money.
Right.
We don't even necessarily have to do any of this. I can go to ShopRite and buy the little water ice that come in the cups and keep them in the freezer. It don't have to be Rita's. This is what you want. I'm trying to be nice. This is not an option today. Here's your alternative. You want to wait till tomorrow? You want to go to Mr. Softy? You want to go home?
You choose. There
And
it
if you
is.
take too long
to decide.
I'm going home.
Right.
There's a lot of conversation that happens at my house.
Now, before we go forward, I want to backtrack real quick.
Okay.
What was your relationship like with your siblings growing up? So let's start with either your brother or your sister.
So we can do them both at the same time, right?
Okay,
So
okay.
I have a very good relationship with both my brother and my sister, and I think it's because I'm so far behind, right? So like the two of them together, like they bump heads all the time, like two raging ass rams, just like locked horns, just all the time.
Right.
But I don't get that from either one of them. It's always like a blurred line with my sister because we're so far apart.
Mm.
And for the beginning of my life, my mom was working on her PhD, so. Like we had babysitters, but there was always my older sister, and she was always like making sure that I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, making sure I had bath, trying to do my hair, like. And so now, I want you to be my sister. Like, stop trying to be mommy, I got a mom.
Right.
But other than that, there was never like a real like.
Okay.
And my brother picked up well, Daddy don't live here, so. But you're not my dad.
But he acted like it sometimes.
But I mean, you know he acted like it all the time. Like all the time you've witnessed it. So it's like, even still, we 5 years apart, but people always think And it's interesting, right? Like, people think that my sister is the youngest. They think the birth order is him, me, her.
Got it. Bet you don't remember all the schools you went to growing up.
I do every single one.
You do. All right, let's go.
And I could probably name all of my teachers.
All right, kindergarten. Let's go.
Kindergarten was at Sumner School.
Where is Sumner?
It is not anymore. It was on 8th Street.
In Centerville?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's now, I think C.H.I.P.S, like the high school.
Yeah, it's probably something else now.
I think it's C.H.I.P High School, but it was Charles H. Sumner across the street from the Isabel Miller Centerville pool.
Okay.
I went there for kindergarten and first grade. In kindergarten,
Wait, but you lived in Parkside. How did you go to school in Centerville?
because my grandparents lived on Everett Street, and where my mom, when I was in elementary school, my mom was working at Pine Point, and my dad was working overnight at Lakeland, so he would pick me up, and I'm lying, my mom was at Camden High, and my mom would drop me off at my grandparents' house before she went to work, and my dad would take me to school.
Okay. So for people who don't know, Lakeland was like it's like the
the
youth
juvenile correction facility.
juvenile jail. You get in trouble, you go to Lakeland.
Yeah. So I went to Sumner for kindergarten and first grade. My kindergarten teacher was Miss Wilkerson,
Okay.
and my first grade teacher was Miss Agan.
Nice.
And then I went to Forest Hill.
Okay.
In second grade, I had
Forest Hill is in Parkside.
Forest Hill is in Parkside. It's next to Camden High.
Right.
Where I'm at, second grade.
Second grade.
Miss Kessler.
Okay.
Third grade was Miss Walker.
Okay.
Fourth grade was a different Miss Walker.
You had two Miss Walkers?
I had a Gretchen Walker
Right.
and a Denise Walker.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Fifth grade was Miss Lyons. Sixth grade, that's when I started switching classes. Science was Miss Little. Language arts was like LAL, like writing,
Right.
was Miss Sharp, or Holland, like Holland Sharp.
Okay.
And reading was Miss Neighbors. Social studies was Miss Melendez was the L. Miss Melendez.
Okay.
And math was Miss Nikitich.
Wow. So what was elementary school? What was that like? What was that like growing up? And you mentioned you were in a band. So did you start playing?
I started the instrument in the second grade, which is
Okay.
interesting because you're typically not supposed to get your instrument until the third grade.
Okay.
But I think because my mom was an educator in the city and she was in the music department, they kind of gave me like
A pass.
yeah. Because I started summer band when I was 8. You're not supposed to start summer band until you're 10.
So what was your first instrument?
The clarinet.
The clarinet.
Yeah.
Did you pick it up well?
I did. I picked it up well because my mom was also the church musician, so we had like a little band in our house. My brother played the drums, my sister played the flute, and I was like playing the tambourine for like a very long time. And my mom like practiced the organ, so whenever she was practicing for choir rehearsal, we was doing our own little Jackson 5 situation behind her.
Right.
So I was always musically inclined. It just was a matter of which instrument I would pick up at school.
Was your instrument playing contingent upon your grades?
No.
No.
My instrument playing was a requirement of my household.
Oh, really?
And I could not put it down until I played it for 5 years.
Really? Okay.
Because I wanted to stop. Once I realized that dance was more important to me than music,
Okay.
I was like, all right, Mom, I did it. I think I was in the 4th grade.
I was about to say, when did you start dancing?
And I started dancing like as a kid, but I think like a little kid, but I think I like realized that dance was it
Right.
when I was in the 4th grade.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't really want to
Play the clarinet anymore, right?
And I was like, Mom, can I just please? And she was like, what grade are you in? I was like, I'm in the 4th grade. And she was like, when did you start? I was in the 2nd grade.
Right.
Okay, well, you still got a few more years. You can also dance. Like, I'm not telling you can't dance.
Right.
But you will not put that instrument down until
Okay.
you have mastered it. Then you can put it down.
And did you eventually master it?
I own a clarinet. She bought me a clarinet in the 5th grade for Christmas, and I could still play it.
What color is it?
It's black.
Oh, you got a black one. Okay. I've seen kids with like the blue clarinet,
Like,
the
I
red
wanted
clarinet.
I wanted a blue one so bad. Mr. Mosaic, shout out to Mr. Mosaic, who was my band teacher at Forest Hill. And I was like, Mr. Mosaic, I mean, what I gotta do to get this blue clarinet?
Right.
He was like, oh, Forest Hill don't have them. Every kid that went to Cream had a blue clarinet. I was mad as hell all the time. Like, I just want a blue clarinet so bad.
So overall, you enjoyed your Forest Hill experience.
Oh, absolutely.
You killed it academically.
It was great.
Music, dancing. Okay, so you graduated from Forest Hill
Twice, because when I left 5th grade,
Right.
there was no 6th grade there.
Okay.
But then over the summer, because I was in the CHIPS program, so
Okay.
over the summer,
So we skipped over that.
yeah, I was in the CHIPS program. So I started CHIPS in the 3rd grade,
Right.
and then 4th grade, 5th grade was
So
at Forest Hill.
for people who don't know what the CHIPS program, it was a program in the 80s and the 90s in Camden, New Jersey, and it stood for Camden Honors Intermediate Program for Scholars.
Correct.
Where they rounded up, where in 2nd grade, all the 2nd grade teachers in the whole city of Camden like identified like the top kid in their class.
Right.
You either went to Forest Hill in Parkside or you went to McGraw
Right.
in East Camden.
Right.
Right.
And so I was at Forest Hill. And it's
Did you walk to school, by the way?
I did. I walked to school.
Okay.
From my grandma's house.
How long a walk would you say it was for you to get to school? In time?
Maybe 10 minutes.
Maybe 10 minutes.
Because when
Okay.
you're a kid, you lollygagging.
Right.
Maybe 10.
And you never had any problems, like in the hood. Okay, that's cool.
And I think it's because like I grew up in the same hood that my mom grew up in, right? So the people I'm going to school with are the children of the people that she went to school with.
So your mom is also from Parkside?
My mom grew up in my grandma's house.
Ah, okay.
So she was born in North Jersey, but they moved to this house. I think she was 11 or 12.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Got it.
Like
got it.
everybody know, oh, that's Doris and Larry's daughter. Oh, she's a cowherd. Oh, she's a carpenter. Like
Got it. So you graduated from Forest Hill in 5th grade.
in 5th grade. And so in the summertime, my mom was preparing me like, you're going to be going to Bonsall. I think that's where the CHIPS program had gone to, was Bonsall, or it wasn't. I don't know. Wherever the middle school for CHIPS was going, I think it was Bonsall. I'm pretty
It
sure.
extended to middle school?
Yeah,
Okay.
it went to 8th grade eventually.
Interesting.
So the summer after 5th grade, they had these plans, and then they moved, I think, kindergarten or 1st grade, or both, out of Forest Hill across the street to what is now the ECDC, what used to be called the Skills Center.
Right.
And so because they relocated kindergarten and 1st grade to the Skills Center, that opened up classroom space. So they just shifted everybody down.
And added
some
6th
doors,
grade to
and
the
6th
elementary
grade
school.
was
Oh, that's
added
cool.
to the elementary school, right. So then after 6th grade, there was another graduation.
Okay.
And then I went to Bonsall for 7th grade, which was the craziest school year ever, because at like in the middle of the school year, the 3rd floor, which was where the CHIPS program was condemned.
Ooh.
It wasn't even just CHIPS. I think it was just like 7th and 8th grade was on the 3rd floor, and it was condemned. So we had to get out of the
Okay.
building, which landed me again back at Forest Hill in the gym
Right.
with partitions.
Really?
Yes, separating the classes.
Seriously.
Dead ass.
Interesting.
Yes.
How are you getting to Bonsall?
Bus. So I would go to Forest Hill,
Right.
and then the district had a school bus
Okay.
to pick the kids up for who were going to CHIPS to Bonsall.
Okay.
And then after school, you got back on the bus and went back
Okay.
to Forest Hill. So
Got it.
if that, like if I missed that connection, then my mom would just take me to school in the morning.
Okay. You never walked once to Bonsall?
I never walked to Bonsall, but my dad's parents lived in Centerville, and every day I went to their house
Okay.
because I was on the cheerleading squad. So after cheerleading practice, I just walked to Everett Street.
How far was a walk from Bonsall to Everett?
5 minutes.
5 minutes? Okay. Okay.
Maybe.
Got
Like
it.
straight
got
down
it.
the street, turn down 10th, and another turn. Like
Okay.
real quick. And I wasn't walking by myself, so there's like really no like real concept of time. So
So it's weird to ask you about your middle school experience because you were kind of at the same school.
kind of, but no. Like I was at Forest Hill for 6th grade, then I
Right.
was at Bonsall for 7th grade, and then I was at Pennsauken Middle for 8th grade.
Okay. How'd you get to Pennsauken Middle?
So in 1991, we moved from Kenwood Avenue to Pennsauken.
Okay.
But because my mom was still working in the city, I stayed in school in the city.
Now, Pennsauken is a suburb right outside of Camden.
Literally, like,
Right. Borders Camden, right?
yeah. Like depending on what side of 36th Street you're standing on, you could be in Camden if you across the street.
Right.
You're in Pennsauken, right?
Right.
So we live a little further down than 36th Street. But because my mom, like I said, because she was working in the city, when we moved to Pennsauken, she was beginning the assistant principalship at Pine Point.
So before then, your mom was a teacher?
Yeah.
What did she teach?
My mom taught vocal music, I think in music appreciation.
Oh, she was the music teacher.
at
Got it.
Camden High.
Oh, okay.
From
Okay.
1975 till 1991.
Really?
She was all in the city. So she worked at Broadway School. She worked at Wiggins for a bit. She worked at Morgan Village for a little while, and then she was at Camden High.
Okay.
Like when she came out of college, she did her student teaching at Camden High, and then she got a job. Miss Adamson, do you remember Miss Adamson?
I do. She used to run
Summer band.
And All City too, right? Or no, that was Mr. Minicozy. Right.
So Miss Adamson went on maternity leave.
I wonder whatever happened to her.
Miss Adamson?
Yeah.
She died.
She did.
In a car accident. Like,
Really?
I want to say like 2016.
Beverly Adamson.
16. I think, 2016.
Sorry to hear that.
So Miss Adamson was my mom's predecessor at Camden High.
Okay.
And she went out on maternity leave.
Huh.
And my mom came in as the music substitute.
Oh, okay.
So then when Miss Adamson came back, there was just 2 music teachers. Because my mom, she did a really good job. So it was like, we need her here.
Right.
Y'all can do 2 different things.
Right.
So my mom was the music teacher in the city for quite some time. And then after that, she started as assistant principal at Pine Point. Then she left and went to Cherry Hill. Then she left and went to Pleasantville. Then she was at a charter school in Trenton. And then she opened her own school.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you guys moved to Pennsauken in 91.
In 91, we moved to Pennsauken, and so she was at Pine Point, and she would take me with her to Pine Point, and my dad would get off work and come pick me up from Pine Point and take me to Sumner.
Okay.
Or then Forest Hill, like however it went.
Right.
Or my mom would drop me off. Once I started going, it was Sumner, so once I started going to Forest Hill, she would drop me off at my grandma's, and then I would walk down the street to Nehema Jackson's house. And then from Nehema Jackson's house, she and I would walk together.
Okay.
To school. And then after school, I walked home with my friend Jeff Vines.
Shout out to Jeff. Wait, what's your other friend's name?
Nehema.
Shout out to Nehema.
And do you remember Gajara?
Say it again.
Gajara Jackson.
Yes,
so Nehema is Gajara's little sister.
Really?
Yeah.
She actually has done an interview.
She did.
Yes.
And she was playing the piano.
Yeah. Right, yes.
This was composed by Claude Debussy, and it is Deux Arabesque.
Okay.
It's just a snippet, though. I haven't played.
Whatever you remember.
I haven't played in years, so y'all guys getting it real raw right now. That's all I got.
So I started my mornings at their house. Front door prayer, breakfast, all that.
Right.
Yep, every day.
In fact, she's from Parkside. You started your mornings you from Parkside. So your walk to Gajara's house is like 30 seconds.
Houses.
Yeah, like 30 seconds.
It's
not even
across
30.
the street.
Yeah,
It's
like 10
across
seconds.
Yeah.
And I lived on Bellevue Avenue.
Right around the curb.
Right. So I lived like
another 10 seconds. Maybe.
Yeah, let's say 10 seconds maybe
Let's say
to her
5.
house. Right,
Yeah.
right.
So, that's on the way to school was with Nehema, and on the way home from school was with Jeff. Because Jeff would go to his godmom's house. She lived across the street from my dad.
Okay.
So my walk to school was down Baird and then in front of Camden High.
Right.
To Forest Hill. And then my walk from school was down Wildwood, straight to Kenwood, down Kenwood. So my dad could see that I was going where I was supposed to be going. And because Jeff was a boy and it was after school and there was more people, like, he was my protection.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
back to Pennsauken. So we're talking about 8th grade now. How'd you get to Pennsauken High?
So 8th grade, my mom decided that it was too unlike Camden. They couldn't figure it out. Like, they didn't know what they was doing. They didn't know what was happening with 8th grade with C.H.I.P.S, with all of that. And she just was like, you need to go to Pennsauken so you can be in the Rogate program, which was like Pensauken's version of C.H.I.P.S.
Okay.
And I totally self-sabotaged because I was attitudinal. I did not like kicking and screaming in real life. Did not want to go to Pennsauken. I wanted to stay with my friends. These been my friends. Like, these is who I'm in school with.
My whole life.
My son not wanting to go to this new school. Same thing. Like, I was like, I know them. Like, I play with them. I'm going to go to Pennsauken. I'm going to know Nobody. Like, what kind of parent? I was so mad. Like, I was like mad, and I went in there for this placement test and bombed it on purpose.
Really?
On purpose.
I mean, answers wrong. What's 2 plus 2? 5.
I got enough answers right that I didn't place myself in like a remedial class.
Right,
I did just enough to
right.
not get into the honors program.
Okay.
Hoping that
Which is actually, I hate to say, it's actually a good thing. I feel like being an honors kid my whole life. Like, it was just a whole bunch of extra work for no reason.
Yeah.
I feel like that. I really believe that in my heart.
It's problematic, really. Like, this is dumb, and I need to be. And it's like, I feel like honors kids in Pennsauken were different than us at C.H.I.P.S.
Okay.
Like, cause I feel like the C.H.I.P.S. program, like, we still was cool with everybody. Like, the honors kids in Pennsauken was like, but we're in Rogate.
So it was like a class type of
middle
thing.
Finger, yeah, Rogate. Like,
Right.
nobody cares.
So was it a culture shock for you?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So growing up in Camden, you're around all black and Hispanic kids. Period.
Yes, period.
Like 100%.
There was one white girl. Her name was Lacey.
Shout out to Lacey.
In the 7th grade.
Shout out to Lacey.
But Lacey lived in Stockton Station, so like her skin was white, but that was it.
Right. She was the honorary black girl.
Yeah.
So now you're in Pennsauken with what, 90%? What percentage would you say?
So I want to say.
Was it half and half?
No, it never was half. No.
Okay.
8th grade. I don't know. Maybe like 85, 75.
75, 25.
Like, there was enough black people that I didn't feel like I was standing out.
Okay.
But it wasn't enough to.
But you clearly weren't the majority.
No,
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Culture shock.
Straight off the rip, which is interesting because on the street we lived on, we were the only black family there for 15 years.
Okay.
And
But you weren't there. You were always in Parkside.
Never there. It was
Right.
this one girl lived diagonal from me named Nicole, and another girl a couple doors down named Caitlin. Like, I knew who they were.
Mm-hmm.
They knew who I was. But that was it. Like, oh, that's my neighbor. She lives on my street.
Right.
Like, we would play together sometimes, but they didn't know how to play double dutch.
Right.
I'm going to my grandma's house. Like, I would literally walk from my house to Brown and Road and River Road and get the 452 to 27th Street and get, I'm lying, it wasn't the 452 that came back there. It might have been. Whatever bus, no, I'm lying. I took the 452 on River Road, or I got the 404 on Westfield Avenue, which was a closer bus stop.
Right, on the way to Cherry
Like,
Hill.
depending on what time of day I was walking to the bus stop. So if it was usually the 404 to 27th Street, and I got off 27th Street and caught the 452 to my grandma's house because the bus stop is across the street. So I was in Camden, like,
Right.
all the time. A lot of people didn't even realize that I wasn't still there.
right.
Because I was always there.
Got it.
And so, yeah, 8th grade was culture shock. Like, the teachers was different. Like, it was different.
Okay.
Even like the kids were different.
How'd you handle it?
I didn't.
You didn't?
It was not. I didn't. Like, I did not want to be there at all.
8th grade was bad for me too.
8th grade was bad. And then, so interesting, on the first day of school, I do recall on the first day of school, they had like all the kids who was like late registrants in like this thrown together homeroom class.
Okay.
And this girl, Shayla Keys, she was with me all through C.H.I.P.S.
Right.
And she was in that 8th grade homeroom. I was like, oh,
Somebody you know.
I know somebody.
Shout out to Shayla.
Oh, I was so excited to see her. And then Alicia and Jessica. So like, as I stopped being mad and started paying attention,
Right.
I saw that there were also other people who had come from Camden and was there, but we ended up like not in the same like classes ever. And then maybe like the second week of school, my best friend Anthony, now, I could not stand this dude. He was so annoying in math class, but he became like one of my like very, very dear friends very quickly. And
Shout out to Anthony.
And he's still my friend like now to this day.
Right.
Really like one of the only people I keep in like constant contact with from high school. But yeah, man, 8th grade was wretched.
That's wild though. Like you know this environment, you're in this environment. They take this kid from the hood and just put you in another environment. Like immediately, no.
Like I needed orientation or something.
Yeah, no
like,
graduate. No, there was no graduate.
No.
It was just throw you to the wolves.
It wasn't even like you might want to go outside and start playing with them because
Right.
they about to be they about to be your classmates. No. I was like,
You got thrown to the wolves.
this is the danger zone.
Okay.
For real. Like it was my first real like personal experience that I could identify with as like, yo, this lady is treating me like this because I don't know if it's because I'm new or because I'm black with an attitude. Like I don't know, but I don't like it. And she about to find out. That's like the first time I got in like any real trouble in school was 8th grade.
Now that you're an adult, do you appreciate that experience? Do you feel like you needed that, or you could have done without it?
That's a very
It's a tough question, right?
It is. I will say this. I understand why my mom did it, but I can't say that it benefited me at all.
Like my life would have been the same if I didn't go here for 8th grade.
Right.
Right.
Like
yeah.
you could have left me where I was at for 8th grade.
Right.
High school,
So let's go there. So do you go back to Camden High?
no. I did not. And I begged, crying, begging, like, I will clean this house from top to bottom. I will do all the work. I will do whatever. I don't care. I'll walk to school. Like, please just let me go back to what I know because this is extremely uncomfortable and I don't like it. I hate it here.
Do you recall when that conversation happened? Like, did it happen? I literally remember I'm in 8th grade and my dad's like, you're not going to Camden High. Like, he said that adamantly. I never forget it. Did your conversation happen during 8th grade or in the summer?
It was in the end of 8th grade.
Like when you decided what high school you're going
Like
to?
spring break.
Okay.
Right.
So what happened?
Because I asked I asked my mom if I could take the field trip to Voki.
Okay.
And she was like, for what?
Oh, so you brought it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, because it's a field trip to see
Now, what's Voki for people who don't
the
know?
vocational school in Pennsauken. There's one in Pennsauken, there's one in
Sicklerville, New Jersey. Okay.
So it's like allied health, cosmetology, culinary, like all kinds of
If you
like,
want to do
trades.
a trade, right?
Right.
Carpenter, plumber.
Right. So she was like, for what? And I was like, well, I'm not sure. I don't know what all the options are, but I don't want to like just be like, no, I'm not going there either. She was like, well, you're going to college. So I was like, well, I still got to go to high school. And I don't really like these people.
Okay.
Can I make a decision to like make my own friends somewhere else?
Right.
And she was like, yeah, that's a no. Well, can I go to Camden High? Because I already have friends.
1 million.
All of them.
Right. 100% of my friends
Are there.
Right.
And she was like, yeah, no. So what about medical arts?
Medical arts was the newer high school.
Right. And she was like, also no.
Why did she say no to medical arts? Did you guys talk about that?
No. She just was like, no. And then this summer,
Okay.
summer band,
Right.
and Miss Puma, Mr. Bates, and I want to say Miss Nicholson. I think Miss Nicholson was like, Miss Puma was the keyboard lady.
Okay.
Mr. Bates obviously was band, and Miss Nicholson was choir.
Okay.
And Miss Puma was like, no, Miss Wright too, because she was a dance teacher, and I was a dancer. At this point in 8th grade, like I was strictly dance.
Okay.
And Miss Wright was like, you know, I need you to take this permission slip, get your mom, so you can come with us to the board meeting to present creative arts.
The new high school.
Right. And
Okay.
I was like, what is this creative arts? What is this you speak of? Like we're already here. What are we presenting? And she was like, no, it's for like a school. Oh, Miss Wright, can I talk to you? Because I need a whole situation so I can go here.
Right.
When is this opening? Like, is this about to open in September? She was like, that's the plan. Like, there's a building already. We just need to get the board's approval.
Okay.
And so I'm like, so this was the summer before 8th grade.
Okay.
With this whole
7th grade summer.
Yeah.
Got it.
And we did this whole presentation. My mom allowed me to be a part of the presentation to the board.
Okay.
And then she took me to Pennsauken Middle School. And so I'm like, okay, well, so now I'm going to 9th grade. This creative arts school is supposed to open.
Right. So you're like, I'm
gonna go there.
I'm gonna take this 8th grade on
and
the chin.
she was like, that's also a no.
Really?
Mom, what are you doing? Like,
right.
why are you doing this? There's no dance team at the high school. There's no nothing. I don't want to do band. I'm not joining the choir. Like, what? Why? Please. Begging. No, ma'am. Straight up. No. Why? Why? Because it was a new school and she wasn't satisfied with what the curriculum was looking like versus the curriculum that I had just been exposed to in 8th grade. I will say that academically in 8th grade, I was faced with some things that I didn't think that I would see. Like, and Forest Hill, Bonsall, straight A's all the time. I got a C in the 8th grade. And I was like,
In what?
what? Math. What am I doing with a C?
Right.
And anywhere other than my name. Like, oh no, I don't do C's.
And that was probably what, like algebra?
It was algebra.
Right.
But I also didn't want to be there.
Right,
and I also really wasn't putting forth
you weren't
all
applying
that
yourself, right?
And and their grading scale was not the same. So in Pennsauken, it's like 93
is an A. Got it.
So
in Camden, 90 is an A.
And I didn't notice, so I'm getting all these 80s, and I'm like, oh, go you. With that school that you don't even want to be at, so your mama stay off your back? No, sir. First marking period, math, C. There's a mistake here.
right.
This is the wrong report card. My mom was like, what is this C doing? I was like, this is not a C. Here goes all my work. All of the work with all these 80s.
Right.
Like, I'm barely making a B, but this 80 is a B. She said, you want to look at the bottom of the report card and see what number equals what?
Right. The academic standards were different in Pennsauken.
Yeah. They really made you, like, do your work. Like, there's no skating. Okay. But then, interestingly enough, when you got to high school, it was back to 90s.
It's back to 90s.
What is the point of this? Like,
so high school happens.
High school.
You're at Pennsauken High.
Happens.
So you kind of know some of the people there now because the 8th graders go to the high school. Mm-hmm. How was your high school experience?
The same as 8th grade.
The whole high school?
I hated.
9th through 12th?
I hated every day of high school.
Okay.
Every single day. Hated it.
Okay.
I had friends. I got along with people. But I didn't want to be there.
Right.
So, I mean, I had good friends. Like we was together all the time. We was laughing. Like, there was no, like, real, like, bully. I got picked on. I got a big head. I wear glasses. I'm super skinny. But just normal, whatever. But I didn't want to be. It's not where I wanted to be. Got it. It was difficult for me because my sister had been there before me. Mm-hmm. And we're 7 years apart. But my sister made a statement. She's very bright.
She excelled.
Yes. I could have. I didn't. I just chose whatever. Like,
external factors were included in your experience.
External and internal.
Right. You didn't want to be there.
Right. I did not want to be. And my sister had like a group of friends. It was her, a girl named Alexis, a girl named Keisha, and a girl named Siobhan. They came through elementary school, middle school, and it's just like they all went together all the time. So she never, like, there was never a resurgence of who Olivia is. There's always just the gruesome foursome, like. And
then on top of that, your brother went to Camden High.
Because my brother, so
that probably was an argument. He gets to go.
How come he can go?
Right.
Man, so mad. I was so mad. And her reason, which I understand and appreciate, is that my brother, as a black man in Pennsauken in 1992, 3,
right,
needed something different than what I needed as a black girl 5 years later. My brother got, like, rammed into the front glass window at the main office and called a nigger, like, the second week of 9th grade. And nothing happened to the people who did it.
Right.
So my mom was like, yeah, this is not. We moved to Pennsauken to prevent him from
falling into the streets in Camden.
Right. So, but, you know, when we moved, I was 6. And so these are not things that I understand or even that I'm seeing. So once I think my mom said he drew a picture of himself, like a self-portrait, and his pants was like sagging, and he had like a gun in a holster, and he had on like gold chains. whose son is this?
Your mom was like, oh, it's not gonna be this type of party at all.
This is not a thing
Right,
at all.
right.
So that's why we ended up there. But so now it's 9th grade for my brother, and he has a terrible experience and like tried to run away like to my dad's. My mom was like, there's no need to run away, you can just like go over there. So after 9th grade, my brother went to stay with my dad.
Okay.
And did the rest of high school at Camden High.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how he ended up there.
Right.
And I was like, well, they don't really like me either.
You trying to play that
I tried it. But so my mom was like, you can't go live with your dad. This boy just was allowed to do this. I don't understand this. This is not fair. I'm going to my room. And I was like, and I came back down, I was mad. Mom, why? Because you're a girl. And it's different for girls. You can't be going home by yourself after school because you're a girl and you cute. But so he cute and he a boy, but he can go home by himself. Because my mom didn't want me to be all doing grown-up stuff.
Right.
At my dad's house because he was at work at Lakeland. So I remember as a kid he worked 11 to 7. And I think as I got older his shift changed to 3 to 11. So like as my brother was coming home from school, he was like home.
Right.
Or at my grandma's. And then, I was so mad. Like, I really don't want to go to this school. Like, I don't want to go here. In the 9th grade, I'll never forget, on the first day of, like, class.
Mm-hmm.
There was this honors 9th grade science class, Intro to Physical Science, C.H.I.P.S.
Okay.
The teacher's name was Jane Seabold.
Okay.
She was also my sister's I.P.S. teacher. And she was also my brother's I.P.S. teacher. And she called my name and was like, oh, a carpenter. I had a few of those. Any relation? I said, I don't know, Miss Ebo, like they need first names for me to know.
Right.
Probably, but I don't know who you're talking about. She's like, well, there was one, a black girl, really smart. Her name was Olivia. It's my sister. And there was a boy, a Larry. He never lived up to his potential. How do you know what he lived up to, ma'am?
Right.
You don't.
Right.
Don't talk about my brother.
Mm.
He's not here. You got me. Oh, well, I see you're nothing like your sister. You're absolutely right. I'm nothing like my sister. Oh, so we'll see how far you make it. I'll be here for all 4 marking periods, ma'am, and you won't fail me.
So it was on from day one.
From day one.
Got it.
My sister like holds a record at Pennsauken High for the most science classes taken in 4 years.
Oh, wow.
So whenever there was like study hall or elective, her elective was a science class.
Okay.
And she's super smart. She went to Dartmouth for undergrad and then went and got her master's from Yale. So like,
sheesh.
My sister is a heavyweight.
Right.
So everybody's expecting me to be quiet and like docile. That's not, no, I'm not quiet.
So on top of not wanting to be there, you were a problem.
I'm just getting compared to my sister. Like,
right.
Don't compare me to her. Let me be me. I'm not her. We got the same parents. We got the same upbringing. I love her. She loves me. But my name is Alexandra. And that's it.
2 different people.
That's it. Like, as we get older, like, as I've gotten older, like, she and I share more personality traits. But when a 14-year-old Xandi and a 14-year-old Olivia, yeah, right. Y'all got the same parents? You sure? Y'all grew up in the same house? Yes, we did. I'm like the crazy person that they hide in the closet.
Okay.
And then when it's time for the ruckus, unleash the beast. Like that's who I am. And the feeling like everybody can't be a lamb.
On a positive note, did you work in high school?
Yeah.
So what was your first job?
My first job was a summer camp.
Okay.
And
in Pennsauken? In Camden?
At a church.
Oh, okay.
In Pennsauken, because I had to walk there. Summer job in Pennsauken at this church called Calvary Assembly. It's right on the corner of like Camden Avenue and Brown Road.
Okay.
And it was cool. It was cute.
You were one of the counselors?
Yeah, and I wanted to work that job like during the school year, but by the time I was getting done with like cheerleading and stuff, like the daycare was closed, so
Okay.
I couldn't do that. But that was my first job, and then I had a job.
You were what, 16 for the first one?
15.
15, okay.
And then I didn't work again until I want to say 11th grade.
Okay.
It was either 11th or 12th grade. Whenever they built that that Walmart and Sam's down 130
Okay.
in Cinnaminson, because I was working at this place called Rag Shop, which was like AC Moore,
Art
Michael's,
place.
yeah.
Okay.
And Anthony was working at Sam's. It was 12th grade, and because he had a car, and I remember I told him, I was like, I got this job at Rag Shop, but I don't want to catch the bus at night by myself. And he was like, just when you get your schedule, give it to me. So we like coordinated our schedules, and he took me to work.
Okay.
And took me home from work. And if it was a day like he didn't work, then my mom would pick me up. Like he would take me to work. Or if I was getting off before him, then my mom would pick me up from work.
Okay.
So that was that. And then I went to college, which
Okay.
I didn't want to do.
Okay. Here's my favorite question to ask people. My favorite part of the interview. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst ever and 10 being the best possible, how would you personally rate your childhood?
Like an 8.
An 8.
Maybe even a 9.
All right. Let's go with 8. What would have made it a 9 or a 10, in your opinion?
So let's go with 8, right?
Let's go with 8.
9 or a 10 would be both parents all the time.
Okay.
And being able to go to camp, like stay with my friends.
Got it. Got it. Do you have a worst childhood day or time period that you would like to forever forget?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's fair.
Like I don't even have to like think about that. I don't think so. I think that the things that happened.
Your 8th grade year, Pennsauken.
8th grade was so hated it. It is. You know what's interesting about 8th grade? In the 8th grade yearbook, I got most likely to succeed.
You did?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
I should have bought that in here. I'm gonna take a picture and send it to you. I swear to God, I got most likely to succeed. And it's so.
I got that in 8th grade.
It's so crazy, right? Because I hated that place.
Right.
But I also hated the thought of disappointing my mom or like being an embarrassment to my mother or even to myself.
Okay.
Because I figured out after that first C and I was like about to just go jump in the middle of the street. This is damage that you're doing to yourself. Like your mom is done school. So stop being stupid and just get your work done because you don't like to be on punishment. And this is the consequence of these grades is punishment. I don't like that.
Right.
So there's that. Right. So
what was punishment for you, by the way, in your house?
I mean, it
no
depends.
TV, no outside.
It depends. No, outside was always a thing.
You could still go outside while you were on punishment?
I wasn't allowed to play. I wasn't allowed to play. But I was going outside.
I would have loved to be on punishment in your house. You can still go outside.
Because I was at my grandma's house and I'm sitting on the front porch watching my brother and my cousins and my friends play up Kane Avenue. And I'm just sitting. Xandi, why you not? Chill. I'm tired. It's too hot lying. My brother be like, she don't punish it.
She don't punish it. She can't come off the porch.
She can't come off the porch.
Got it.
Look, y'all could come on the porch.
Right.
Nobody was coming on the porch. I'm sitting out here looking like I'm waiting for a cab.
They know your grandma in the window.
My grandma was not playing around.
right.
It was a whole situation. I asked her, I was like, Mama, I can go play. Your mom already told me you want punishment. No play time for you. I remember one time, like it varied. Outside was always a thing.
Okay.
And I think watching them play was torture. More torture than like telling me I can't
go outside
watch
at all.
TV.
Right.
Or don't go outside at all. What? No outdoors. I can't breathe. Like what? It's funny because as an adult now, I don't even want to go outside. And
nowadays, kids could care less about going outside. They're in the house playing Fortnite and on their phone on Instagram.
So that was one, go outside, but you can't play. But there was also, like, leave everything in your room, but you're unable to use it. Like take the speaker wires, but leave the radio. You know, we had antennas on our TV.
Right.
Take the antenna, but leave the TV. So one time I tried to hit my mom with the foo-foo and put a paper clip in the antenna part.
Mm-hmm.
That resulted in a whooping.
That didn't end well for you.
I got beat. Pretty bad too.
Let's flip it. Do you have a favorite childhood day or time period that you would go back to if you could?
Now I answered this before.
You said the blizzard of '96.
Yes. And I was about to say that. I was like, it's either the blizzard of '96 or my Sweet 16 party. My Sweet 16 party was bittersweet, but the blizzard of '96 was like the first real like snow. Like it was a ton.
In the Northeast.
Oh,
the Northeast section of the United States.
So much snow. And right in front of our house, we have like one little step, like a cast iron, like a wrought iron, like railing.
Mm-hmm.
I say cast iron, it's like the wrought iron.
Right.
And then we had some bushes that grew up right in front of the railing. And for whatever reason, when the snow came, I guess because the bushes was higher than ground level, so the snow came over the bushes, and as it was like, I want to say it was like 3 feet of snow in that storm, right?
No, it was like
Maybe,
damn near 20 feet.
I feel like it was just so much snow, right? And I was so small, so like the railing is here, and then there's like bushes, and then the bushes snow came down to like a little slope, and my brother was like, put on your snow stuff, and I was like, but it's still snowing, like how are we going to get out the door? I didn't even know that he had already like wiggled his way out and like shoveled the walkway or whatever.
Okay.
So I was able to get out the door, and we took a trash can lid, and he put me on it and like made a sled in the front of the house, and it was like the best day ever. I was like, oh, it was so fun. It was like the first, like, that's like the first real vivid, I got a big brother.
Okay.
That's here to be my friend. In '96, I was 11, but I mean, like, obviously we had like memories, but this was like, oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Because it was like the first time I like ever was like on a sled, even though it was like the top of a trash can.
Right.
But it was like fun, and we was stuck in the house, and I was like going crazy. I really think my mom was like, figure a way to get your sister out of here so I don't kill her. But I don't know. But yeah, that.
So what happened at your Sweet 16?
So my birthday is Memorial Day weekend.
Really? So it's in May?
Yeah, the end of May, and my mom and me and my sister both had like a very formal Sweet 16, and my
like Hispanic people when they
not
turn
that formal.
But I'm saying when they turn 15, what's it called? A quinceañera. A quinceañera.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was yeah, but not like that.
Not like that formal.
No. Cause
Could they go hard? Some of those quinceañeras.
And I asked for that. And my mom was like, "You're not getting that."
And then Jewish people,
they have a
the bar mitzvah
or a bat
mitzvah, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But that's at like 12 or 13.
Right.
So I was like wanted a quinceañera. I was like, forget a 16. Can we do it at 15? Because I want that. She was like, you're not doing that. That's their culture. You let them do that, and we're gonna be over here doing what we do. You're gonna have the same thing your sister had. Okay. Well, my birthday landed on a Sunday, and because it was a holiday weekend, she was like, we'll just do your party on a Sunday. Requirement, though, on the invitation, you must be dressed. No jeans, no sneakers.
Okay.
Dressed up. But because it was a holiday weekend, like the first weekend for the beach, and because you had to be dressed up, I feel like once I was in the 9th and 10th grade, that's when people like our age started like not really wanting to like get dressed. I'm going to a party where I gotta like put on a shirt and tie.
Right. So
it ended up being very few people there from high school, which I didn't really expect a lot of them anyway, because I didn't really mess with them like that. And like everybody from my church group and like a bunch of old heads. So it was great because old people give money. And the people who wanted to be there were there, so the party was like good. But I remember very vividly being 9 years old at my sister's Sweet 16, and everybody was there, like all her school friends, all her church friends, everybody was there. And I was like, oh, I didn't know what to come to my party. But I didn't. But that was like during the party. But then I didn't care. Because when I got home, I opened up all my cards. I was like the people who was there needed to be there.
Exactly. Is there anything that occurred in your childhood that you feel forever affected your life?
My dad not being in the house.
Okay.
Straight up.
Let's talk about that one more time for a second, because we've covered that. Do you think that, like, even as an adult, it affected your decisions with men?
Yeah.
Like, whatever I'm saying, you're gonna be like, yeah, okay.
Yes. So I think that my father's absence in my childhood affected my perception of like a man in a relationship, right? I think I was attracted to the thing that I saw my dad as and not who he actually was. So I ended up with like a bunch of like people I probably should have left alone. But they say that like girls are attracted to their dad, but not. It just wasn't right. And I feel like if our relationship was different growing up, I would have had different expectations from the guys that I was allowing myself to spend my time with.
Okay.
Or like even just to the way that I developed relationships, right? And so I spent so much time angry with my dad, not wanting to talk to my dad, and not also wanting to talk to my brother because he was close to my dad. And I just feel like if my dad was home, I just think I would have made some different decisions.
One thing I don't want to skip over. So you said the way that you develop relationships. What do you mean by that?
So like, there were things that I was tolerant of that I shouldn't have been tolerant of. Like,
So first I'm gonna be extreme. Guys putting their hands on you?
absolutely never.
Your brother would have murdered them.
On site.
Got it. So you never came home with like a black eye?
No.
Okay.
I got hit one time at school. I was away. And I just told my brother this like 2 weeks ago.
Whew.
Yeah. He was like,
He'd
what?
have been down in D.C.
I never even heard of this. I was like, this is why.
Yeah.
This is why I didn't tell you. But yeah, I got hit one time, but I took care of it myself.
Okay. I don't know what that means, but we're
It
gonna
means
let
he
that
went
slide.
to sleep,
He went to sleep.
and there was a bat.
He probably did. You probably saved every female after that.
Probably.
Yeah.
But he hit me
Man.
in my face.
I don't understand these guys who are
Off
like
his mistake, too.
woman
Like,
beaters. Like, I don't get it. But a lot of it is what they see
right.
or what they saw growing
What
up.
they saw, right? So I was working at this restaurant, and he was supposed to pick me up from work.
Okay.
Well, he didn't. I was going to his house. I just got the train.
Mm-hmm.
So off the train from where he lived, I had to get a cab, but I had on my work clothes.
Okay.
So I worked at Hooters,
Okay.
but I didn't have no change of clothes because my boyfriend was supposed to pick me up. So
Got
I don't
it.
need to change my clothes. My bag was already at his house because he dropped me off at work.
Understand.
So I'm on the train with my little Hooters outfit.
Annoyed.
I was pissed the hell off.
Right.
I'm super irritated because like I don't even want, like, being at work having to be seen is different than being on the train having to be seen. I was very slim, but I've always been very heavy at the bottom. So I got on these little tiny shorts with all this following behind me,
Right.
and I'm on a train.
Of all.
And
Right.
I'm irritated
Right.
on a DC train. I get off the train. He's not at the train station. I get in a cab. I get to the apartment. He's playing a game. What time is it? Obviously, it's after my shift is over because I'm here. So, boom, there's that. And I went, I took a shower, changed my clothes, went in the kitchen, started cooking. He came in the kitchen. He was so mad his friend was there. You gonna come in here with these clothes on and da-da-da-da, and you like on the train like that? Why you ain't call me? I shouldn't have to call you. You know what time I get off work. Excuse me, you in the way. Slam the refrigerator, lay me into the wall, punch in my face. Don't talk to me like that.
Why his boy was here? Showing off.
Cause who are you? What is this? It was really like,
No, this was the first time a guy ever hit you.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, outside of like slap boxing.
Right.
Did you just hit me? Don't let that shit happen again. Alright. I cooked dinner. I fed him and his friend. I ate. I laid down. I pretended I was asleep. He went to sleep. I got up. I got to bed. And I hit him back.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. And if we had World Star back then, you probably would have had it recorded with like
Nope.
1 million views.
Nope, I'll never tell his name, and I'll never, no.
No, I mean, I'm saying.
I never would have done it. I never.
Oh, you wouldn't have recorded it for World Star for
Never.
social media?
I never would have done it. Not ever, because I don't like people in my business. Like this whole interview.
Right.
This
It's
is
new.
outside of Xandi's level of comfort.
And we appreciate you.
Yeah.
So wait, so what happened? So you boppy, he gets up.
No, he was sleep. He was drunk.
Oh.
So I bopped him. He hit me once.
Mhm.
I did not hit him once.
You lost it on him.
I was mad. Like, how dare you?
Right.
And then he realized, like, he woke up, he realized what's happening. He, like, jumped up, grabbed the blanket, like, stop fucking playing. Then he, like, wrapped me up in the blanket. Now I can't swing. Now I'm even more mad. Because
Right.
now you confined me. And I get out of this situation.
That was the end of the relationship.
The end.
Which is interesting because a lot of women don't have that story. They got hit over and over for years.
No, because I got this brother. No, that was the end. That was the end of that. And we didn't talk for years. I want to say I was 19.
Okay.
I was 19, and I had my son when I was 25, and we didn't talk for like 3 or 4 of those 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then his dad got sick, and he called me and was like, I'm in church and stuff. He was like, I need you to like pray for my dad, like really, really bad, like pray hard, please, because he's really sick. And I'm like, interesting.
He thought of you out of all the people
And
he could have
I
called.
actually said that to him. I was like, it's very interesting that you called me to pray for your dad. But I'm going to do it. But, like, I haven't talked to you in 6 years.
Right.
And he was like...
And it ended bad.
Right. So, so it was like 4 years because I was like 23. And then we, like, he became, like, got into the church. And then we, like, established, like, an actual friendship, right? Like, we figured it out because we're older now.
Right.
And then right before, he was in the military, so right before I had my son, he was about to go back, like, across the country on a different, like, station somewhere else. And so I went to see him, 9 months pregnant, on an Amtrak. And I went to see him right before my son was born.
Oh, wow. Okay. So he apologized, he
He did.
atoned,
Yeah.
and he's definitely he will never put his hands on another female ever again.
He's
ever.
married, he's a minister, he got, like, 4 kids.
Right.
And and it's funny because we don't talk anymore.
Right.
Like, life happens, you get older, you, like, grow apart from people, but yeah.
Who is the Alexandra of today? So, being the woman who you are now, think about everything that you experienced, all the things you saw, everything you witnessed growing up. What's your overall perception of how your childhood affected your life? Or if you even feel like your childhood did affect your life? And who was the person you became?
I feel like the most important takeaway from my childhood is to talk, to be a communicator, whether it's an easy conversation or a difficult conversation. And there's a lot of people who don't have that. Like, you're a child, and so how you feel doesn't matter, right? Or you don't have to agree with what I'm saying because I'm the parent or the adult. There's always, or you walking around with an attitude, scratch your mad spot and get glad. There was never that. There was always what is the problem? It's okay for you to be angry. It's okay for you to be sad. But what is making you feel like that? Like, what is it? Even if I said, I don't like these stupid rules, that it's okay that you don't like the stupid rules. But they are the rules and you are to follow them, right? So it's giving me an appreciation for communication. It's giving me the ability to have the difficult conversation. And like with the mother that I had, it helped me to, like, it took a long time to get there, but I've learned to temper my approach to things. I used to just be like a I almost use the F word, like a cannon, right? Just like 0 to 60 with like what's less than 0, like that. And I don't find that I'm like that anymore. I'm very, I don't want to say I'm mild mannered. I pay attention to things that I wouldn't have paid attention to if I didn't have the upbringing that I did. If I didn't have the conversations that I had, if I didn't have the experiences that I had, I wouldn't know to watch the things that are going on around me, right? So we talked a lot about my parents and things like that, but I grew up in a family where my uncles struggled with addiction. 3 of the 4 of them. And right in our face struggle with addiction. So now I'm a certified addictions counselor, and I don't know that that's a route I would have taken if I didn't have that experience growing up, right? And so I've been working with kids who struggle or who are deemed substance abusive, like they're abusing their substances. But I work with the kids in efforts to help them to not become the adult, right? So there's the bad stuff that you see that doesn't necessarily directly affect you, but it does. You know what I'm saying? Like the direct effects and the indirect effects. So like if they were my parents and they was using drugs, my response or my growing up would be very different than the niece that saw it. Right. So like you'll look at me and you'll look at my cousins, their daughters, and see 2 very different people. But when you are the child of a user versus the observer, you're gonna grow up very differently. So I am a realist. I don't do a lot of lofty thinking. I deal with things at face value, right? I take what you say to me as what you say. I don't want you to say anything. I want you to do something. I've learned that from my mom, that actions speak louder and more clearly than anything that you'll ever say out of your mouth. And so I am a doer. I am not so much of a sayer. I'm talking a lot now, but I don't really have like much to say. I see a lot.
So you became a certified addictions counselor? What if some kid is watching this and they want to be one too? What do they have to do?
So I did it after I got my bachelor's degree.
In what?
My bachelor's degree is just in general studies.
Okay.
Because I'm like, couldn't figure it out. Like, I want to do psychology. I want to do biology. I'm tired of being in school. I need to complete this degree. What can we conglomerate all these credits and get me out of here? Because I'm tired of giving y'all my money. So general studies, but my minor is psychology.
Okay.
So I have like 117 credits toward a psychology degree. I'm missing like 2 classes for a psych degree. I was over it. Anyhow, you don't have to go to a 4-year institution to be an addictions counselor. You can go straight out of high school, go to a community college and get your associate's. There's an associate's degree that comes as it's like a ADDAS, the Associates in Addictions Counseling.
Okay.
But there's also a certificate that you can get to piggyback on your bachelor's degree, which I did.
Okay, excellent.
And the difference is the associate's degree requires, field work, where the certificate does not.
Okay, got
My
it.
suggestion would be to do the associate's degree. Especially if you already have a bachelor's degree, you still want to like do the associate's degree because you'll take the general ed courses from your transcript and you'll end up just with the content for the certification.
Okay.
But you'll get the field work. It's very difficult to find an internship for a certification when you don't have the field work already. Like it's very hard to find people who are willing to give you the 1 to 2 years experience that they require.
Right, got it.
You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's like, oh, we need 1 to 2 years experience.
You're like, what have you done?
But nobody wants to give you.
Yeah, how do you get the 1 or 2 years experience in the first place?
When
right.
you don't want to take me when I'm wet behind the ears. You want me to just come to you knowing how to do it. Somebody has to teach me.
Right, exactly.
Like, they can teach me all the knowledge in the classroom that they want, but being in a class is not. It is not.
What have you applied from what you learned in school, right?
Not the same.
Right,
It's
got it.
not at all.
Now, is this what you wanted to be when you were younger, growing up?
Absolutely not.
What did you want to be?
A federal judge.
You wanted to be a federal judge? Really? Really? Now, how did that happen? How, like, what, you didn't want to be a lawyer, or a doctor, or a policeman.
No.
You wanted to be a federal judge.
When I was in the 2nd grade,
Okay.
I was like, I'm gonna be a judge, a federal judge. Don't ask me what I knew about a federal judge. I know that's what you about to ask me. Why a federal judge? Why not just a regular judge?
Right.
I don't know, because I heard it and it sounded good, and that's what I wanted to do. And then I turned like 16. However old you are when you take biology, 10th grade.
Right.
I was like, oh, I don't want to be a judge. I'm going to go to college, and I'm going to major in biology, and I'm going to go work at the coroner's office, and I'm going to do autopsies, and that's going to be my job.
Okay.
And that's what I want to do.
Interesting.
That is it. That was it. That had become the thing. A minor in psychology, a major in biology, and put the pieces together and figure this stuff out. But
Give some advice in closing to blank-year-old you. So if you take everything you know today, and you know the person you were back in the day, if you could talk to a younger version of Xandi, a younger version of Alexandra, how old would she be, and what would you say to her?
she would be 12.
Okay, so you give some advice to 12-year-old Alexandra. What would you say to her?
Talk to your dad. Stop being angry and figure out the conversation and talk to your dad.
Okay,
Your mom's not your dad.
correct.
She does not have the answers. She's not in it. She cannot tell you why he made the decisions that he made. It's not your fault. It was never your fault. Talk to your dad.
Got it. And you feel like your life would have been so much easier and so much better.
I would have made a lot of different choices.
Got it.
A lot.
Alexandra, we appreciate you so much for coming today. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. This is the most I've talked ever. Ever.